A few things in life is as good for your happiness as a slightly warm piece of buttery, soft, cheesy, oniony, pull-apart bread. Light is a cloud but holds a universe of flavor. And the trick lies in a tiny little step, so small that if you blinked too fast, you would miss it altogether. But before we get there, let's make our onions. A majorly important step all on its own. Get it right and you're in for a treat. Get it wrong and divorce will follow. Any onion will do for this, which we peel and indiscriminately chop fine, but not too finely. We do a little bit more than needed, let's say 2 to 3 large onions, because some will go into the freezer, as you'll make this bread time and again once you've tasted it. Guaranteed. I mean, look at it. It's like one of those rare, endangered people you actually want to see on a daily basis. Anyway, sweat the onions down in a touch of olive oil or chicken fat to make it vegan. And a pinch of salt straight away, because we want to draw out the moisture early on. This prevents premature browning, and lets the onions soften before anything burns. Once the onions are turning translucent, we turn the heat up ever so slightly and cook them until they start to brown a touch, but not fully caramelize. The point here is to get rid of the raw onion flavor and bring out some natural sweetness. Once that's done, you set it aside and let it cool down to room temperature. The actual bread dough is very straightforward, but an expertly weighed, enriched dough, meaning we use a bit of mashed potatoes, butter and milk. No need for egg. Tried it and wasted a perfectly good vegan product. To start, we add 4 grams or 1 1/4 teaspoons of dry active yeast to lukewarm milk. You can use 8 grams of fresh yeast or 4 grams of instant yeast, if you prefer, as well as 12 grams or 1 tablespoon of white sugar. Mix it all well to combine and let it get to know each other for about 5 minutes, before adding it to a stand mixer. Next we add 60 grams or 1/4 cup of mashed potatoes. For this recipe, it can be instant mash, but of course, for best results, you use the mash I showed you the other day. With every calorie. In goes 6 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, 265 grams or 1 1/4 cups of white bread flour with a protein content of minimum 12%, although I've had perfectly good results with all-purpose flour. But bread flour will give you a fluffier texture for sure. Attach your dough hook attachment, then on a fairly low speed, start working the dough together. Let it go for a good 8 to 10 minutes. Before adding 20 grams or a fat knob of butter. Increase the speed a touch and knead it for 5 more minutes. With enriched dough like this, you want to take your time as gluten takes longer to develop, because of all the gelatinized starch and fat we added. As soon as your dough starts slapping the bowl, you might or might not instantly recognize the sound. We add 50 grams or 1/3 of a cup of our fried onions. Give it a good mix just until it looks smooth and incorporate it again. It'll break at first, but come back in no time, don't you worry. Next, you simply shape it into a ball and cover it with a damp towel. Let it proof in a warm place, like your oven, with only the light turned on, for about an hour or until doubled in size. Once it's looking fully puffy and risen, deflate it however you fancy. Firm, but gently, always does the trick. Before we get to the next step, you finely grate or crush 5 grams or roughly 3 medium cloves of garlic. And on your granny's box grater, go to the small side opposite the big teeth and grate 100 grams or 1 cup of your favorite semi-hard cheese. This could be cheddar, Gouda, Monterey Jack, or if you recently received a big inheritance, go for Gruyere or Comté. But you get the idea, any low moisture, medium hard cheese will do. Next you grab some washed scallions and chop them finely, simply in little rings. I got about 30 grams or 1/3 of a cup's worth here. And finally we need 35 grams or 2 big knobs of softened but not melted butter. Oil your work surface instead of flouring it. The trick to successful pull-apart bread is simply to keep the layers as lubed up as possible, without making it look like Diddy got involved. So once your work surface is lubed up, you roll your dough out with a rolling pin. And here we need to eyeball it instead of measuring too much. I hate measuring as much as you, by the way. We are looking for a dough rolled out to roughly double the size of a baking tin. No need to be too crazy exact here. The recipe goes into a standard 9 to 5 inch loaf tin about 3 inches deep. Now simply with your hands or with an offset spatula, you spread the butter out over the dough in a thin layer, making sure there are no bald spots. After that, you spread out the crushed garlic in an even layer. And if you have baked garlic, this is a fantastic way to use it. Once the garlic is on, we go nicely and evenly all over with the scallions. And finally, we finish off with our grated cheese. You can of course let this rise on a baking tray as is, and bake it like a sort of kind of pizza thing, just in case you get lazy halfway through. But for now, we need to layer this. And the best way to do that is to first straighten the sides a little bit, but don't cut anything. Just a few nudges here and there will do. Cut it in half lengthways first, then across in roughly 2 finger wide strips. Stack these strips on top of each other. Mix and match the ends so you get a roughly balanced log. Flip the stack on its side, then cut that in half once more. A little bit like stacking dough dominoes together, then laying them down in a bread tin. Repeat until you have used up all the dough, and gently but firmly get it into your tin. Do not worry too much if 1 or 2 slices pops out or things aren't picture perfect and symmetrical. It's not supposed to be like that, and everything is good. If anything, you could tidy up the sides a little bit by nudging the dough to the center a touch, but not necessary at all. Once you have that, cover it with a damp towel and let it rise until doubled in size for about an hour, before baking at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 minutes, until your loaf is golden brown and smelling like you just arrived in heaven. Carefully pop it out onto a wire rack. And while it's still warm, generously, and I mean generously, brush it with melted butter all over, into all the nooks and crannies. Optionally, you can hit it with a touch of flaky salt, before marveling at your new best friend. The hardest part is letting it cool down a little bit, but not too much. You want to pull this apart and eat it while it's still warm. And pull it apart we will. But before we pull anything, go live a happy life.